You're on the road with Noble Outfitters. We're in Dundee, Florida at Elis Western Wear. You're going to meet the Durance family that has over 6 generations of experience running cattle in the state of Florida, and you're also going to learn some very interesting facts about how Florida participates in cattle and horses that are going to surprise you.
In the mid-1800s, America was pushing west and expanding at a rate unknown to any previous civilization. Americans pursued their dreams and unlimited opportunity. But they needed food, equipment, seeds, and tack to press on beyond the established cities and towns already settled. Out of this demand, a new retailer was born, the General Store, who handled everything a westward family would need to survive. Today, these retailers provide rural Americans the same materials, service, and expertise that made them invaluable over 150 years ago. Join Noble Outfitters as we rediscover the retailing backbone of America. Hear their story in their own words, how they've not only survived, but actually thrived in the modern world. Come along as we go on the road with Noble Outfitters.
You're on the road with Noble Outfitters. I'm here with Sina Sarani, and we are going to take a tour of beautiful Elis Western Wear. Sina?
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And how long have you been with Elis?
11 years, going on 11 years this year.
All right. Well, it's a beautiful store. It looks like you've got tons of wonderful stuff here, and we'd like to see what you've got here.
Absolutely.
So show us around.
Okay. Well, we have a large selection of cowboy boots, of course. I think we're probably one of the biggest boot distributors in Florida. Yes.
And how many pairs of boots do you think you've got?
Oh gosh, thousands.
Thousands of pairs of boots. You know what's crazy is why does there need to be thousands of boots? You know, there's so many different styles and shapes and heights.
There are. We have everything from work boots to going out on the town, you know, fashion boots.
And then we've got your basic jeans and clothing.
Yes. And we really are excited about a lot of the new Noble.
You look great in it.
Thank you. I think if I had to pick a product though with Noble, I love the shirts and the jackets and the usable quality of stuff, but I really, really love your boots, your mud boots, because we have horses and cattle and chickens and all kinds of stuff, and I use them. I use them daily.
Well, a basic rubber boot is something that you've got to have out on the farm and ranch.
They're comfortable.
And if you can put something on that's comfortable, and that's the whole reason we made it, is because we got, in our focus groups, comments from people saying, you know, they hated their rubber boots because they were heavy, they were uncomfortable, and a lot of them actually weren't even in women's sizes. You know, we make them in women's sizes, we make them in half sizes, and a lot of times they were just, here's one size, it's a men's 9, and if you're a woman, you need to be a 12 woman or something to wear the 9 men's.
I use those every day.
Yeah.
I love them. And we've been a little swampy here in Florida this last year with El Nino. We've had a lot of rain, so it's been a big deal to have a good rubber boot. Well, one of the really neat things I think that's been a great program with us is the Noble Outfitters Generation shirts, where the little guy gets a shirt free when he buys. Yes, it's been huge. Our kids have really enjoyed that, and the adults too.
Well, and part of the reason behind that was to try to be thinking about the generations and how the generations are teaching the young kids about respect and hard work and being a good person. So we wanted to do everything we could to foster that by giving a little shirt that looks like Dad.
Right.
There's nothing more a little guy wants to do or a little girl wants to do is look like Daddy.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, I got somebody I want you to meet. He's one of our best customers. It's Russell Drawdy. And
Russell,
this is
how
Dan.
are you?
Nice to meet you.
It's my pleasure, sir. It's my pleasure. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
My wife and I are the coach for the UCF Western Equestrian team. With Elis and Noble Outfitters, they came together and gave us a sponsorship to help us clothe our kids and give them shirts and hats and.
Oh, cool. So we did a program together.
Yes.
And put together the team shirts.
Yes, we had a equestrian day. We had the whole team here, and Russell and Teresa were nice enough to bring them in and get them all gathered, which was like herding cats. And, we
about
outfitted
18
them.
of them. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And boys and girls?
Boys and girls.
Oh, great.
Yes, sir.
And so, you know, it's interesting, Russell, because around the country, there's thousands of stores like Elis. And one of the things that we're out celebrating and talking about is it's these local farm and feed stores, mom and pop farm and feed stores around the country that support local programs like yourself. And they're the ones that give back to the community because they're in the community and you're in the community and you give back to them by shopping there. And we just want to make sure we keep that tradition alive. So anytime you have an event, anytime you have anything going on that you could use any of our products, we'd love to cooperate with Elis and do some things for you and have some fun out there at the school.
Well, it's a very big thing that the local people support our kids today. The kids, on the college teams, it's very hard for them. They have to work, they have to pay for a lot of things themselves. So when the local community comes together and supports that, we're just really supporting the horse world. And a place like Elis, they've been here forever. We've all dealt with them for years and years. They've been great people for us. I believe that if we don't have these kind of places still, you're not going to have that foundation for the young people.
There'd be a big hole in the whole process. Mm-hmm. And so, and getting in and being involved in the retail business here in Florida and being here for so long to service the local community, it's a wonderful thing. That's what built America. And we've got to maintain that. We've got to make sure that we keep that feeling of pride and local community. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pleasure meeting you, Russell.
It was
anytime,
nice to meet you too.
Anytime we can do anything for you and help the school and work it out with Elis, we'd love to do it.
No problem. Well, we appreciate everything you guys do for us and the show and everything. It just keeps all of the country people alive.
Thank you, sir. Good luck to you out there.
Meeting you.
Absolutely. Well, Sina, it was a pleasure meeting you and getting a tour around the store.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for selling our products, and thank you for servicing the local community with all the products that they need. You're doing a great job.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys.
You're on the road with Noble Outfitters. We'll be right back with lots more from Elis Western Way. Don't go away. We'll be right back with the entire Durance family, and we're going to tell you all about how it got started. We're on the road with Noble Outfitters, and right now I have the extreme pleasure of introducing you to the Durance family. 6 generations of cattle people here in the state of Florida, and they run the Elis Western Wear store. And Rafe, if you could give me a little introduction here to all the folks we've got here from your family today.
Well, sitting over here is my parents, Roland and Linda Durance. This is my wife, Christy Durance. Myself, Rafe, my sister-in-law, Samantha Durance, and my brother, Buck Durance.
All right. So I understand, that 6 generations have been here. So that means for you, we've got your dad, okay, and then we would have your grandfather. That's 3, and then we'd have great-grandfather, and then great-great-grandfather, and then so it's gone back a pretty good ways.
Sure has. Yeah.
And you're still out there running cattle and in the cattle business.
Yeah, from time to time we get to go out and, get on our horses and work a few cows here and there, but most of the time we're in the stores.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many stores are there?
There's 3 of them.
There's 3 stores.
Yeah, sure.
And you've been in the store business for how many years?
Oh gosh, since 83, I believe.
Okay. So the first store started in 83. And I didn't hear you introduce anybody called Eli. So how'd the name Eli's come up?
Oh, there was an older gentleman by the name of Eli that, first opened the business, and then a little while after that, we had purchased it from him. So
okay,
yeah.
So you bought the business as it was running before.
Yeah.
Wonder how long Eli's was in business before you bought it.
Oh man, it wasn't in how many years you think?
It was Eli's department store.
Yeah.
Oh, so
probably
it was
2 or 3 years.
So it was kind of an old department store.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And it's interesting. We go across the country, and we meet lots of different people in this business, the basic mom and pop farm and feed business, we call it. And really, we're kind of going around the country celebrating that. And we want that to stay around. We want that to be a part of the fiber of the country, because this is actually the supply chain, the old mercantile that kept the farm and ranchers in business for many, many years. And they'd come into town, they roll in on their buckboard or their horses, and they'd pick up supplies. Now, obviously, you don't have flour and needles and sewing materials and things and bacon and whatever, but it's kind of funny because the stores, besides not having all those things, they still have things like toys and some jewelry and some picture frames and some things. It's funny how the stores maintain that kind of like one-stop shop process for everybody, you know, that come into the store. So that's kind of fun. Who's the main person that then working the cattle?
My dad, he, you know, took care of a lot of cattle all his life, and, you know, we've always turned to him and for answers and all that good stuff. So.
Okay, and Roland, how long you been doing that? Of course, all your life, huh?
Yes, sir.
So how now, were you born and raised in this area here?
Okeechobee.
Okeechobee, and obviously, as soon as you were old enough to do anything, you were out there helping the family. And your grandfather around at that time?
Yes, sir.
And so how old were you when you started working cattle?
6 or 7.
I love it, because if you think about it, you know, 6 or 7 years old, what can you do? Well, there's a lot of things you can do. And you learn to do things because you actually can do things at a young age. And you're still working cattle today.
Yes, sir.
Do you enjoy doing that?
Yes, sir.
You'd rather do that than be here at the store?
Yes, sir.
You'd probably rather do that than be on this show, huh? I appreciate you taking some time with us. And you know, the interesting thing about Florida is that Florida was the first place in North America where cattle were actually introduced into the country. In 1581, Ponce de Leon, the Spanish explorer, brought cows to North America for the first time and landed in Florida. So that's an interesting statistic here for Florida. And I don't think the people out there really understand that Florida is a big ag, cattle, horse business. It ranks number 16 in the country for dairy cows. It ranks number, I think, 12 in the country for cattle, for beef cattle. And then, you know, for the sport horse, racing horses and thoroughbreds, it's one of the largest per capita horse areas in the world is right here. And I don't think people, I know for me from California, I always think about Florida as being, you know, the beaches and, you know, Disney World. You know, I really don't think about what is going on out here as far as this part of the business. So it's fun to know that part of it as well. So tell me a little bit about this whip cracking. I mean, who is it that cracks the whip and learn how to do that, or do you do that?
Oh, we all learn. Me and my brothers and everybody, we learned at a real young age.
And is whip cracking part of running cattle?
It helps, you know. It helps you when you're off in the big swamps and stuff. You can pop them and it echoes off in there, and cattle start pouring out and this, that, and the other. And you can pop them and make your dogs get off a bunch of cows and different things like that. So they come in a lot of use.
Okay. And is there a certain kind of whip that you use for rounded cattle?
Nylon, yeah, braided nylon. It's got to be built, weighted a certain way for it to pop correctly. So we're pretty picky about our cow whips, how they're made. So.
All right. So, Roland, can you crack a whip?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever have to crack the whip on these guys? Yeah, pretty regular. Well, that'd be great if you could teach me how to crack a whip a little bit later. I'd sure like to figure out if I could do that.
Well, we can sure do that. But
Okay,
it's
just
probably,
make sure I don't take my ear off.
You can take your ear off or your eye. It's pretty neat though.
Well, I really appreciate you folks taking some time with us today and telling us a little bit about the family history and taking us through your beautiful store, and we've really enjoyed it. Well, I can tell you folks, if you're anywhere near Dundee, Florida, you got to drop in and take a look at Elis. It's a fun store, great people, and who knows, Mom may have a pie made up. You never know. We'll be right back with more with You're on the Road with Noble Outfitters.
You're watching On the Road with Noble Outfitters.
We're on the road with Noble Outfitters, and my favorite part of the show is the Noble Child of the Week. And this morning I have with me Jody Witter. How are you, Jody?
Good, how are you?
Good. How old are you?
I'm 9 years old.
You're 9. And tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you like doing?
I like riding horses, I do cheerleading, and I like playing with my cousins.
Yeah. So I understand you also help your dad a little bit. You do a little work and things.
Usually me and my two brothers, we pick up fence posts and we stamp them in and we hammer the nails.
Yeah. You ever get any splinters?
Yeah, a lot of those.
A lot of splinters. Well, that's interesting because if you think about it, you're very young, but you're working. And I think one of the biggest messages I have today for the kids out there that are watching is that you need to get out and do some work at a young age and get out of the house and ride your horse and do other activities rather than just stay at home and play video games. And what are you laughing about? Who plays video games?
My brothers.
Your brothers play video games. They got to get them out of the house and get them doing stuff. Yeah, do you play video games?
No.
Oh, perfect. I love it. I like that. Because there's a time and place for playing video games and having some fun. But what happens is you just end up doing it too much, hours and hours and hours playing the video games. And it's just not a healthy thing to do. It's better to be outside and, running around and having fun.
And not stay home eating Doritos all day.
And eating Doritos all day. Yeah, that's it. What happens? You end up looking like me instead of you. So what grade are you in school?
I'm in 3rd grade.
Okay. And you enjoy school? Yeah? What's the funnest part?
Well, my favorite subject is math and writing.
Writing? You like to write. What do you think you're going to be doing when you get older? You're not married, are you?
No!
Oh, well, I didn't know. Yes,
I'm in 3rd grade.
Okay, I didn't know. You got a boyfriend?
No! Ew.
Okay, yeah. Boys are, yeah, okay. That'll change one of these days. But anyway.
Ew.
So what do you see yourself doing when you get to be older?
I want to be a pediatrician.
A pediatrician, taking care of babies. You'd be a doctor for babies, huh?
For kids.
Oh, for kids.
It's not just for babies, it's for kids.
Well, you've been doing some research on this, huh? Do you have a bank account?
I don't know.
Well, you need to get a bank account. Start saving up some money for college.
I have a savings account.
Oh, savings account.
Does that
works.
work?
Yep, that works. Savings account is good. How much you got in there?
I'm not sure. My dad keeps track though.
Okay. So are you, when you work, are you doing a little work and your dad gives you like an allowance and he puts a little money in your savings?
We get paid and then we do fence jobs and then the guy pays us each the same amount because mommy gets this amount, daddy gets this amount, I get this amount, and the boys get this amount.
So you get paid when you're doing the fencing? Mm-hmm. I love that. I have a gift for you. I want you to put this in your bank and I want you to save it. It's a $100 bill. And I want you to remember me, and I want you to remember how important it is to work hard and save your money so that you can go to school and you can be that pediatrician and you can take care of not just babies, but kids. Right. You taught me something today. I thought the pediatricians just took care of babies.
No, not just babies.
Okay. Well, I learned something today. Thank you for teaching me that. And thank you for sitting around and talking to me a little bit.
Thank you.
You're on the road with Noble Outfitters. We'll be right back. Hello, I'm Dan Costa, the CEO of Noble Outfitters. Each week, we're going to be featuring a local farm and feed store that has been the supply chain for all farms and ranches across this great country for hundreds of years. Each one of these stores has an amazing story to tell. Join us on Wednesday nights for a fantastic view of what's kept the farms and ranches supplied over the years. On the road with Noble Outfitters, right here on RFD TV. You're on the road with Noble Outfitters, and every week we try to share with everyone out there a wonderful recipe that we have picked up along the road. Today, Linda Durance is going to share with us an age-old recipe for peanut butter pie. And I have to say, Linda, I kind of snuck just a little bit of taste off the side.
That's good.
and I'm telling you, it is really, really delicious because there's a combination of the custard and the peanut butter and everything. But I want you to tell me about that. When did you get started making this?
When I first got married 48 years ago, I started with a basic vanilla cream pie filling. and I made that for chocolate and peanut butter, and I just over the years tweaked it and added this and added that.
So the cream filling, you make this also and make a chocolate.
I make it in
So
a
you'll
chocolate
put chocolate
too.
in the cream, so it ends up being a chocolate cream.
Right.
But you've got a beautiful custard here. And then, what's giving it the strong peanut butter flavor though?
I take peanut butter and confectioner's sugar and mix it together and put a layer on the cooled pie crust and then put my custard, and then I do another layer and then sprinkle some on top of the meringue.
You know, one of the most important parts of a pie is always, of course, the crust. Tell us a little bit about how you make that crust, because it's so flaky and it stays crisp, but it doesn't get soggy.
I use butter, a combination of butter and Crisco.
Okay.
And the butter gives it the flavor and the Crisco makes it flaky.
Did you know I'm a chef?
No, I did not.
25 years I've been a chef.
Wow.
I worked my restaurants. First job I ever had for 25 years cooking, but I never really did any baking.
Oh, okay.
I can make you a great pot of soup, but I can't make any pies.
All right, well, come to my kitchen and I'll teach you.
And I'll teach you how to make soup. That'd be fun.
Okay.
Well, Linda, this is an absolute delicious pie. I'm really thankful that you've shared this recipe with us. It's an old family tradition, and we appreciate it. We always have our recipe available for all of you out there. Just go to nobleoutfitters.com/RFDTV, and you can find all our recipes when you're on the road with Noble Outfitters. And it'd be fun for you to prepare these recipes and try them out for yourself and your own families. Linda, I got to thank you very much today for preparing this for us. We really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Same to you.
You're watching On the Road with Noble Outfitters.
We're on the road with Noble Outfitters, and I am going to learn how to crack the whip today. Everybody's always told me, you always crack the whip, but I've never really cracked the whip. Rafe, I'm going to have you show me a little bit about how to actually crack the real whip.
Well, these things are a little tricky. That's one way you can crack it. Probably the most common way, probably the safest way for you to crack it would be to bring it around the head, crack it that way.
So around the head and bam.
Just kind of come at an angle and bring it straight down.
Okay.
And try not to beat the whip.
Okay.
Let it do the job.
Okay.
So, you want to give it a shot?
Do one more time.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to go around my head and then I'm going to snap, okay?
That's correct.
There we go. All right, finally. Rafe, this is not as easy as it looks.
No, it's not.
Thank you very much for
We
teaching me
appreciate
how
y'all
to
coming.
crack the whip.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you, sir. Roland, I really want to thank you for taking some time with us today and showing us around and telling us all about the story of the company and you guys and 6 generations. It's been quite a pleasure.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate y'all coming.
I appreciate you.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
very much. Let me ask you something. What's going on with all these brands in front of the store?
That's just a ownership identification. We brand on the cattle.
And that is from the family?
Yes, sir.
So those are family brands from over the years.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's cool. I love those. You're on the road with Noble Outfitters, and don't forget, if you're ever in Dundee, Florida, stop by and see the friendly people at Elis Western Wear. You'll have a great time. We'll see you soon.
Here, maybe try to do this with it. And right when it gets to the end, just kind of give it that little tug.
Okay.
See, that's a good pop and whip.
All right. So straight out.
Yep, there goes the ear.
Hey, wait. Now, Ray.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go around the back again.
Okay.
There we go. All right, finally.